Well, I've actually written about this very question. I think that in the emergence of what might be taken to be a new genre, and that's always an open question, is this a new genre? Is the weblog a new genre? I don't think the answer to that is necessarily obvious. That we can understand, that we can help to answer that question by understanding the rhetorical resources that users of weblogs are drawing on in creating the new kinds of actions that they seem to be engaging in. Those who have written diaries, private diaries, those who have engaged in scrapbooks and commonplace books, those who have engaged in collections of curios, those who have engaged in accounting and record keeping, will be able to draw on the resources of those other kinds of rhetorical actions in engaging in any kind of new action. But it's not to say that those ancestral or antecedent genres fully control or define a new genre. They simply constrain, inform, facilitate the engagement of people with new media with each other in new ways, and they sort of together evolve a new mode of interacting with each other that draws on these available rhetorical resources.
Within the framework of that, I'd like to talk about three kinds of histories, and then also then talk about what might be ancient history, which has no immediate connection. So the first level of history is what Professor Miller, I think, was in fact talking about, that as situations change, media change, and we have genre change, people still rely on their existing understandings, and groups rely on their existing understandings. So when a new medium comes in, often the first products on that medium, we've seen this many times on the web, really are simply the transplantation of a genre from a previous medium or previous set of situations. Yes, exactly. Then people discover new possibilities, new ways of doing it. But one of the amazing things I've seen through the history of literacy is that we made amazing inventions, amazing changes, but each of these inventions actually can be seen as very small, the kinds of things human beings can do. I won't go through the whole story, but those of you who heard me retell Schmant Besrad's story about the inventions of literacy sees how each of these steps does not take a genius to imagine, but they are a gradual response to the potential of your medium, recognizing your situation. So there has to be a kind of a transition in which people are learning, and in that learning they draw on what they've known before. And now in our current period, where there are many people engaged in very new kind of not just technological but social arrangements, activity arrangements, there's a lot of learning very fast, but it's all of very little inventions. And just happening in a very large social way, so it seems like there's enormous, in total you can't say there's rapid generic change. In the course of developing a single project or a set of projects, an individual, a group of people will also run through starting from what they know, and in the various drafts or versions will transform as they discover new possibilities of the new medium. Always also remembering, though, if your message is going to be understood, you cannot get too far ahead of your audiences who are also trained, share the prior genres with you. And so that's you have to bring your host audience along with you into the new world of genres. Then it happens at an individual level. We all have our individual histories, and in fact the term antecedent genres, as Professor Devitt has been using, it's largely an individual history of what were your prior personal experience of genres which you bring to understand any current text or new situation. So those are three levels of history. Now we've been talking so far about older genres that are invoked in the process of change towards newer genres. Sometimes I found that looking at totally ancient genres which are not available now and are not being invoked, nonetheless can help us understand the kinds of problems people were solving at that time. Why did they write such strange things which brought from our eyes, such an unusual cluster of things together in the way that they did? In doing that, you start to understand their social problem, the dimensions of communicative situations, and so that also does provide a knowledge for helping us understand the new possibilities of very different situations.